Hi Ralph, how are you doing?
Okay, thank you.
Good stuff. Can we just first of all check on the team news? Is there any fresh injury concerns, and how are the injured guys doing? Moussa Djenepo, Salisu, and Smallbone.
All in, all back in team sessions so far. Not back fit to play, but on a good way. All the three guys, and the rest is also fit.
And those three guys available for selection this weekend or not?
No, for this is not a little bit too early, I think, but they are on a good way, I think.
Obviously, Theo's going to be back in contention after missing against Everton. He's been saying that this week, Ralph, how much he loves being back at Southampton, frankly. I mean, you must be so pleased that he's come back to Southampton. He's talking about, a longer stay than maybe this season. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm very happy to hear that he likes it here and he enjoys what we're doing here. I I think that it's the same what I've seen so far on the pitch. Normally, you get a feeling for how much a player enjoys to play here, and I'm happy that he's available now again on the weekend. And yeah, it's important that he steps in the team and he learned very, very quick, and he's open-minded for this new stuff we try to implement. And yeah, let's have a look how he can show how much he helps us, and I'm very positive that he will.
What are your thoughts on this match at Villa? You'll have seen what Leeds did there last Friday night. They had 27 shots. Bamford ran riot. You must have been a very interested spectator.
Yeah, we know about the quality also from Leeds. Leeds is a very strong side, I think, and also Villa had made a few very good steps forward in the summer with a few good signings, but also better organized, and definitely a team that is doing well. They had a fantastic start in the season and now lost the first game, but also this game they must not lose because they had a few very good chances, I think, especially in the beginning. And yeah, tough opponent, and definitely a tough game for us.
How confident, though, are you feeling after Everton?
Confident is always such a word of leaning back. Confident, yes. We have self-confidence, yes, but we know how tough it will be on the weekend. I think we have a good chance to take something there if we play like we played last season against them. It was a strong away game from our side, and we must go there with 100% commitment and a good game plan, and then we have a chance.
You are, though, playing a team that beat the champions 7-2 a few weeks ago.
Yeah, amazing. When you see this game, it was amazing game. Nearly every shot was a goal, and it was, yeah. The one thing is to get the chances. The other one is to really score in that moment and kill an opponent like Liverpool. So it was amazing, and for me, yeah, not a coincidence. They did a good job. Yeah.
Ralph, just finally from me, 58 games so far in the Premier League season. There have been 26 away wins and only 19 at home. That's a 45% win for teams on the road. I mean, what do you think's happening? No crowds, some freaky scores, and a lot of away wins. What's going on?
Yeah, to compare it, we should have known the statistic before. I don't know how the statistic was before. I think the away games are not so unlikely to win anymore. So a lot of teams feeling better when they don't have to play in possession and can more counterattack. So it's for me not so surprising. But in the end, yes, sure, maybe it's a little advantage that there's no crowd in anymore and no atmosphere. But yeah, I think for us it was also last season typical. We had also when the crowd was there, a better way stats than a home record. For us, it was not a big difference.
Just finally from me, how much is the arrival of Diallo spurred on Romeo to some great form recently?
I don't think that he needs this pressure from another science number 6, because in the end of last season, when Pierre was still here, he deserved to play because he came back from after lockdown more fit and very, very sharp, and really tried to show up, and that was the reason why he grabbed his chances with both hands, and then there was no reason to sub him anymore, and that was the reason why Pierre in the end of the season was also on the bench, because he was simply better.
Thanks, Ralph. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Jonathan at PLP.
We're there. Hi, Ralph. Afternoon. Can I ask you about we often talk to you about combinations of players. What about Bertrand and Redmond? They seemed very effective against Everton, especially. Do they come as a pair in your mind, or would you be able to sort of tinker with positions to accommodate other players? And what is it about their link-up play which satisfies you?
Yeah, I think especially in our shape with the 4-2-2, you can definitely speak about couples everywhere. This is right. Most of the time, these are the players, they support me the first immediately, yeah, and because they are closest to me, and then, yeah, it must be a good relationship, yeah, because especially in our working in the net and defending in the net, it's important that you get the support from the front, that you have the closing from inside, and this is definitely. It's not the worst thing if you have a good relationship with the guy that works in front of you, and it's not 100% necessary, but it helps definitely. Yeah? And we see it on other positions, also on the right side with Stewie and Kyle and Frank with Ingzi and Danny in the center with Browsy and Ori and in the center back. So we have definitely these couples. Yeah, maybe there's a little bit more communication between these two guys than the rest of the team, and this is good when they know each other very well. It's good.
And because of that quite unique setup, do you spend time on the training field working specifically in those pairs, Ralph?
Not really, because during the week I try to split it up also a little bit, because it is necessary to have also other players playing in this position when there's an injury or we have to sub in the game, so that they also know how to handle him and how to work with him, and they automatically spend more time together. So we have to sometimes to split it up a little bit to give the others also a chance to get a feeling for playing with him or playing with him. And yeah, and at the end of the week, then we go back to our starting 11 and give them a little bit of self-confidence in working together, and then it's normal.
And on Aston Villa, from what you've seen of them this season, particularly when they started with all those wins, what is it which has impressed you about them?
Yeah, you must say that they are closing better. The reverse gear is a definitely better one. Also more aggressive on the jump, and I think you don't have so much time to attack the space. The space is not so long open, and in transition they have the biggest quality. They have good players with carrying the ball and speeding up the game there. And you have to have a good counter pressing, good rest defense. Otherwise, it's difficult against this opponent. And I think every part of your game must be on the highest level. Otherwise, it's not possible to win that.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
See you soon. Thank you.
Go to James at TalkSport.
Ralph, it's been your best start to a season, or Southampton's best start to a season in 6 years. Just how much of a boost is that, and how much confidence does it give you that you can do something special this year?
Well, only my second start. So.
As a club,
because to have a better one than last season. So I don't know. It's always important that you grab points as quick as possible. After the first two games, it didn't look like that this could be a better one, a better start. But it was good that we found our winning track back as quick as possible. And in the end, it's not important to have in the beginning more points. In the end, it's important to have consistency in your performances, because that helps you massively to be a team that competes with the others. yeah, we have now the belief in what we are doing. The last 4 games are really good, especially the last one. Absolutely not one of our worst, to be honest. It was with the ball and against the ball, a very good performance. Yeah, but this is now the level we want to take as a fundament, and from this we want to build up and not fall back to old behaviors and try to build up from this level where we are now, because it's still not everything perfect, it's still not everything fantastic. So there are coming new challenges and tough fixtures, and you must be always able to reach this highest level, and then you have a chance, and this is the goal every week.
You've managed 3 clean sheets in your last 4 matches. Is this as happy as you've ever been with your side from a defensive point of view?
Yes, always good. To be honest, this is the key of winning, and the key of getting points. If you have a clean sheet, definitely. There are different ways to do it, and in the last game especially, we had a very good game management, also in possession. So it's not only about defending. Yes, it's also a very important part, but in the moment we also have a very good mixture of when we have the ball, taking not too much risk, but also let the opponent run when it's necessary. And this is a new quality, I think, we definitely developed in the last 3-4 months, and still can get better, and in the end, a combination of everything if leads to a clean sheet and to scoring whenever we can.
And just finally from me, Ralph, we saw Mohamed El Yunusi scored 2 goals for Celtic last night. How closely are you monitoring his progress? Do you think he may be embedded in the Southampton squad next season? I know we're a long way away from that, though.
Yes, I'm very deep in what all my loan players do, and I'm very happy for him that he scored. Was happy to see it, and we always are happy when loan players show up and develop their games, and definitely every player has the chance for coming back and being part of the team maybe next year. Yes, why not?
Thanks, Ralph. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Adam at Radio 7.
My friend Adam.
Ralph, good afternoon. It's Adam. How are you?
Yeah, hi. I'm okay. And you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you. I'm all right. Looking forward to Sunday. I know you've talked about away Premier League games in general, but more interestingly to me, your next away win will give you the most away wins as for any Southampton manager in the Premier League era, matching Ronald Koeman's 14 in the whole Premier League era. Why do you think you have managed this team so effectively away from home? Because it's not just been in lockdown. It's not just been when there's no crowds. It's been since you arrived.
Yeah. I mean, you know that the way we want to play is always active and never passive. And sometimes it's easier active in away games because it's a little bit surprising for the opponent. Maybe, I don't know. It's good that I don't have to find the answer for this stats. You can think about it. I only try to deliver, and the rest about the statistic you can discuss why. Whatever, it's not important for me. More important it is that we take the points there, and the way we do it there is very often also deserved. This is what is important for me, and the belief in what we are doing. You can see also when there's a game like against Chelsea, when you are 2 times down and you still fight back because you believe in what you're doing, you're convinced about what you're doing. This is definitely helpful to be successful.
Interestingly, with Villa, they have the best defensive record in the Premier League, despite investing most of their money in their attacking players in the summer. They are much more of a threat for you than perhaps the side you did the double over last season, because I think a lot of people felt if you kept Grealish quiet, you kept Villa quiet. Now there's Barkley and Watkins and Trezeguet. How do you see them and as a team that you have to combat to actually stop attacking, because they love going forward?
Yeah. Wow. I can also remember the games last season. Well, they haven't been so easy. So like it looks maybe from the results, the away game was not so clear. In the beginning, we also had a few moments where we can go 1 down. So it's also last season was a stronger side. They had a little bit more pressure because spending a lot of money, and then it wasn't the best season so far. This season, after a good start, you have a lot of self-confidence, and like against Everton, you know that is coming a very strong side. So in general, I like it because then you don't have to make the opponent stronger than he is. He is strong, and the opponent is then to a big challenge for us. And this is definitely what we like more, to have an opponent in front that we can really compete with. And this is for my team sometimes the easier way to finding the right way in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I was going to ask you, you said last week, things are going well, but we have to keep our mentality correct. And I often think you're better when you're not the favourites for a match, when the team go out on the pitch knowing they have to be at their best to get something from the game. Is that the next stage, getting the team to go out on the pitch with their chests out and knowing they're the best and dominating? Or do you like it that they have to fight in their minds to equal the opposition?
You can be sure that we go out with a lot of self-confidence and believe what we're doing. And we are very convinced about what we do, but we also like it when we are a little bit below the radar, so nobody else is on his sheet because of playing against a very strong side. So it's okay, and then we can maybe surprise the people when we are playing well. But it's not much about what is the noise around the game. It's our whole energy goes always in the stuff that helps us winning games, and there's more about details, about game plan, about behaviors with and without the ball, finding solutions for everything that can happen in this game. And this is the focus for every week, and gives us our whole concentration goes in this part of the preparing for such a game. And in general, it should help more than thinking about why they think we are strong or not. It's not interesting for us.
Thanks, Ralph. Good luck Sunday.
Thanks a lot.
Hi, Ralph.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good stuff. Just what I wanted to ask you about Angus Gunn, if that's okay. He made his debut for Stoke this week. Given how pleased you've been with Alex McCarthy in his form, how important was it to let Angus go and find himself a new challenge this season?
Yeah, like for everybody who we cannot give him what he wants to get, so we cannot give him time to play. Then it was perfect for him to go and play somewhere else and develop his game. So it was definitely the best choice he can make. And in the end, we hope that he gets a lot of time to play there and play good games.
And he's someone that you gave his Premier League debut to, and he was sort of first choice this time last year. So he's someone you clearly see something in. He's still only 24, quite young for a keeper. Do you see him as someone who could come back here at some point and have a longer term future? He signed quite a long term deal when he signed, and he's still quite young for the position that he plays.
As I said before, I'm really happy when you see players playing well. They are on loan from our side, and then I want to give everybody a chance to come back, but therefore they need to show up and they need to show that they develop their game. And because we are also moving forward with our game and with our team, it's not easy to come back, to be honest. But never say never.
Do you think confidence was a problem for him? Because he started the season and didn't play too much from sort of October onwards. Where I guess as a goalkeeper, it's tricky, so you don't get many games when you're out the side.
Yeah. There are not so much subs on this position. Once you're in, you are in for longer. This is also okay because they need to trust him then and give him also after mistakes a chance to show again. But then when the other one is stronger and deserves to play, then comes the moment where you're out, and then you're out for longer. And when then your other goalkeeper does a better job, then it's tough to come back. So it's like on every position, we want to have these duels. We want to have quality. Doubling up every position is the best you can have, because then it's a real battle about who is playing, and this is normally a good situation for every club.
Well, thank you, Ralph. All the best Sunday. Thanks.
Okay, we'll go to Tom at the Sun.
Hi, Ralph. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good. Just want to take you back to Bertrand and Redmond, who asked earlier about it. They're quite well known for being good friends off the pitch and have for a while. Yeah, well, I believe so. Yeah, I think I've been told that. I hope so.
You know more.
Based on this question. You always talk about how the team needs to invest a lot in the way they defend, where they work together, work hard. They seem to work arguably more than a lot of other teams. Is it important to be mates off the pitch, to go that extra yard? And do you encourage your players to, socialise together to try and build those relationships?
It's not necessary, but it's also not negative for working together, I think. If it's your good friend, you can also blame him when he doesn't help you a little bit easier, maybe, yeah, because he understands when you criticize him and tell him to help you. But normally there shouldn't be so much communication on the pitch because everybody knows exactly what he has to do. I don't like it, to be honest, when there is too much discussion on the pitch because that shows that people or players are thinking about things they don't have to think about. When something doesn't work, it's good when they find the solution without a lot of discussion, knowing, okay, where you have to run. But in the end, everything must be clear. And so I don't need so much discussion on the pitch. Keep the air for running is sometimes better.
And looking at your team at the moment, it seems to be, out of the whole time you've been there, perhaps the most settled side. I mean, I know you can still change it up, but I think a lot of the time, if we get the squad selection wrong, it's not far off. And Aston Villa at the moment definitely have a very regular starting 11, it seems. How important has that been to both your sides' starts of the season and obviously the clean sheets?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have that many games that we have to change always or bring fresh players in. So this is the good thing now in the moment. And then it helps definitely if you have a squad that is that has automatism. You know that we lost the 2 10s against Chelsea, so we had two new ones, and now again Stewie was coming back. So we had a few, especially on the 10 position, we had a few changes in the last weeks, but the rest was settled, and it's good because you can see that there is there are automatism, there are some habits. We know each other, and this helps definitely, and yeah. It's everything. Every time the goal from a manager to have as quick as possible an 11 where you can say, okay, this is now the team we can trust, and from this everybody has a chance to step in, but it's tough, and yeah, this is normally what you like to have as a manager.
And just finally, you've talked before about the competition financially with other clubs, spending in the transfer market. Southampton having to be a bit more creative due to lesser funds. I was wondering, how do you see Aston Villa as a rival, given that they've spent more than 100 million in the last 2 transfer windows? I mean, are they a club that, financially at least, Southampton would struggle to compete with?
It seems, but to be honest, there are more ways to be successful. That's the good thing in football, and in the end, yes. If you have this opportunity, it's fantastic. I would also like to have it. If not, you must find a different way to do it. And there are different ways possible. And that's what makes this sport and this business so interesting, I think. And this football so interesting because you can always develop a team. You can always make the team better. When I see players in my side, how they develop their game, how I think the value of them is also growing, so this is because the whole staff and everybody is working hard here every day, and I cannot say what makes more fun as a manager, to develop a team or to get the money to buy new players and a stronger side, but both is nice.
Thanks, Ralph. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Ben Stanfield.
Afternoon, Ralph.
Hello.
Just wanted to follow up on Tom's question there, just about squad competition. Obviously, as the team are hitting a bit more form, it's going to be harder for players maybe that aren't involved to get into the team. The likes of maybe Jack and Shane and players like that. So, as a manager, trying to find that balance and act of keeping everyone happy in the squad, how hard is that?
It's different. Sometimes it's very hard because when you don't have good results, then they expect more to play, because they expect you to change the team. When you're always winning, I think the roles are relatively clear. Nobody's coming and thinking about, now I get a chance to play. But you should never stop believing in that the chance is coming sooner as you think. Not only because of injuries, but also because of being stronger than the opponent in the session. And I think if I have shown one thing in the time I'm here, is that form is more important than talent. So if you show up and you are in a good situation and you score all the time, or you do fantastic things in the session, you can be sure that we see it and that you get seen. And in the end, that helps you massively to make a step in the team. And the worst thing you can do is if you don't play and you also train worse. So this is not good. This is not a good combination, and then the chance is definitely not there to step in the team.
Yeah. And I just wanted to follow up on Moussa as well. Obviously, it's a shame to hear he's still not available for this weekend. He's obviously someone that's shown glimpses of his positive and almost unpredictable attacking play in his time at the club. But he's only managed to start 2 or more games in a row twice since he's been at Saints. So how important do you think this season is for Moussa? And as a young player who seems to keep suffering these injury niggles, and you've obviously said you're not going to rush him back this weekend, Ralph, having to manage his fitness and sort of workload in a different way to maybe the rest of the squad?
Yeah, this is definitely the biggest issue we have with Moussa. He's a fantastic player. And the problem he has with all the injuries, we have to take care now. Definitely, we're more focused on his fitness now than on anybody else. And we must get him more resistant to injuries. If we don't, then he will never make the step through. He always shows that he has quality. This was the reason why we signed him. He had definitely better start than Shea, for example, but Shea had now, because he was always fit and he can always fight for his position, he has now a situation that is different, and he was far behind Moussa. But when you're not fit and when you always fall back because of injuries, then you can never make the next step. And this is what he needs to know. He must be there very professional in the future, invest a lot in his body, and then he has a chance to be a famous Premier League player. Otherwise, it would be difficult.
Great. Thanks, Ralph. Good luck Sunday.
Okay, we'll go to Alex Crook.
Hi, Ralph.
Hello.
You mentioned Shea Adams there. Obviously, he started the season in fantastic form. Is that a reward for you for keeping patience in him? Because obviously there was interest from Leeds earlier in his career, but you made it clear you wanted him to stay. Are we now seeing the best of him?
I mean, this was also for me not always easy to say give him the chance to play, because he had some not so good games, and we had a tough season last season. We had a lot of chances, not scoring and everything. But when you can see that he shows in the session that he can score and couldn't bring the form in the game, so this was definitely a problem. But then it's not a lot missing. I think a good message is if a striker has the chances, then it's only a question of time since he scores. And you could more struggle if he doesn't get any chances to score. This is more difficult then, because then you think there's something wrong, or he has not the quality to go there, whatever. So no, it's important that a player knows that there are not endless chances out there to take, because there'll come a moment where another one is then suddenly in for me and scores, and then the chance is gone. So I must grab it. With everything I have, the chance I get, and then if you can score, even better. But it was also not only the scoring that convinced me, it was also the way he wanted to play for the team, because he didn't also not score in every game this season, but he was working very hard, and the relationship with Ings is a good one in front. The team likes to play with him because he's so hard working in front. We have with Longy and Michael, and now also Dan Lunderu, a few opportunities on the bench. They also like to grab for this position in front. And so you always have to show up and we'll never lean back. And I think he knows this, and he hopefully continues playing well.
And what's the difference this season? Why are those chances that maybe were going wide of the post or hitting the goalkeeper last season, why are they going in this season?
Yeah, in the first games he had the same problem against Palace. I remember he had a big chance, and then against Tottenham the same. So the first two games it looked like same start of last season. Then it turned a little bit, and this was good.
And you mentioned relationships there, and the partnership with Danny Ings. There's been a lot of talk about partnerships in the Premier League, particularly with Son and Harry Kane combining. What do you like about the partnership between Ings and Adams? How do they bring the best out of each other?
No, I mean, both are working hard, and this is important. They run for each other, they close the gaps when necessary, try to help each other. This is important. We know how important our first pressing line is and how hard the job is they have to do sometimes. But in the end, both are able to do this job, and they show this every week. And it's good to have them there when making one assist, the other one scores, or against Burnley, Shea makes the assist and Ings scores. So this is how it should be. And now I know why you ask so much, because of Son and Kane. And I understand what it's about the Goalkeepers.
Well, now you mentioned that, I mean, do you see Ings and Shea as one of the best partnerships in the Premier League? Are they comparable to the one you've just mentioned?
You can ask me after the season, then I can tell you if they have been or not.
Just the last one on Danny. I mean, he's always had the ability to drop deep and to be a playmaker as well as someone who scores goals. He seems to be doing that a lot more this season. Is that a deliberate ploy? Is that something that you've worked on over the course of the summer?
He also played last season sometimes in the red zone to take the balls there and run in front. And he can score. He can also make assists. So as a striker, you must be everywhere, and you must have a threat not only on scoring. Like, you cannot only wait in the box until the ball is coming and then you put it over the line in the back of the net. So you must be everywhere, helping the others, defending, winning the ball, have a good transition. A final pass would help also, and both have to have this. And then it's not so important for me who scores, to be honest. I love it when I see the whole team being dangerous and have a threat for scoring. So this is what I like the most as a manager.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Harry Pratt.
Hi, Ralph.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Ralph, this is one of those dreaded pay-per-view games this weekend. On the Sky box office that have caused so much problems. I don't know your views on that, but one thing I would have thought, I was looking at the two lineups from last weekend, Villa and Southampton. You had a total of 15 together British players potentially playing on, from 22 players on starting, which is, I think, probably as many as we're going to get in any one game this season, homegrown players. So I would have thought it's definitely a game for Gareth Southgate to be watching with so many English players. And also, is it a sign of the development of homegrown players in this country that we have that many in teams and they're playing that well, the young players?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to worry about the English football, to be honest. There are so many talents around there. And the Premier League is such a target for the young lads that they invest so much of getting better. And when you see our academy, how many good players are playing there, and how driven their guys are to make the next step to us when they're coming up to us, how hard they work and how much they want to show up, then you don't have to worry about the English football there. As I said, it's not a coincidence that we have so many English players here. I was working in Germany and also tried to develop the young lads that were in our team, and here I do the same. And yeah, there are some really good players here, and if Gareth, we can deliver some good players there. We like to do it. The most important thing is if they go to the international games, that they also are seen as good as the others. They're coming maybe from bigger clubs, because they deserve to get also the chance to play there, because I think it is tougher to score for us 21 goals, I think, than to score them for Man United or Tottenham or somewhere else. So this is what I think it is not so easy, I think.
Thank you. Now, I'm just wondering, you beat Everton last week. Should you win on Sunday, do you expect some of your senior players to be knocking on the door asking for Europe bonuses? Because we've heard Villa players are currently negotiating potential Europa League bonuses should they qualify, or is that something you like to have sorted at the beginning of the season?
That should be normally sorted when you sign a contract here, to be honest, because it must always be the target as a player, so we don't have to think about it in the moment. And it's also important, don't think about something during the season, because I think it doesn't make sense. It's not important to think about the end of the season, what rank you can have. It's more important to think about what you can do to win the next weekend game. So this is definitely more important, and use all your energy to concentrate on this, on the small steps. The big steps come automatically. So, and then, it's still a long way to go there, and there are so many good teams in the Premier League. What do you think about in the moment being on 7th position? This is not really a statement for nothing.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, with the potential for a second national lockdown at some point, with the way, would you expect this time round, should God forbid there is a national lockdown, that the Premier League and football can continue, unlike back in March when obviously everything had to come to a stop, because you're better prepared as a league to deal with this sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Not only better prepared, also better organized, and we showed that this bubble works. And this is, I think, the most important thing. We had yesterday again testing. No one was positive in the whole bubble, so we know how to handle it. We know how to deal with it. We keep our social distance in the building all around. We're wearing masks all the time, and stick to the protocol as much as possible, I think. And the Premier League showed that it works, and this is, I think, the most important thing. And there's, for me, no reason why you then think about stopping something. I think the risk is getting less when there is a national lockdown, because then we know that players have even less contact to anybody else outside the building here. So this is the reason why I don't see any reason we should stop them.
Thank you very much, and good luck weekend. Cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, then Tom Leach.
Hello, Ralph. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello. Something you just said then that interests me a little bit about how we don't need to worry about English football. How do you think the youngsters in England compare to those in Germany? Because I think sometimes from over here, we can presume that the kids at clubs like Dortmund are so well looked after, especially when we've seen Jadon Sancho go over there and do so well. How do you think the youngsters over here and how we look after them compares to how they do it in countries like Germany?
Yeah, maybe. So there's a quote that says, the player in their own club doesn't shine so bright like players out otherwise, and this is not right. You must always look what you have. It's not a coincidence that the English players are going to Germany. They immediately have a good impact. There are good players in Germany, also in the youth. Absolutely, we have fantastic players there. We had in Leipzig a few very good young players, and yeah. Important is that it's not only the young player and the talent that is there's a sign of quality. It's what you make from them, or how you develop them, because it's like a small flower, I say very often, and you don't put water on it and dig it and keep it safe all the time, then it will not develop and it will not grow. And this is what I say. And the best young player will not get the next step to being a famous Premier League player when you don't work with him and don't work on his issues. He has I haven't seen so far a young player that has every quality you need when he's coming up. So every player has his issues, every player has his deficits, and the most important thing of all the qualities I've seen so far is the mentality. Because when you like to work more than others do, when you like to work harder than anybody else, then you have a bigger chance. This is more more important than a good talent, I think.
We see it a lot over here where young players come into the Premier League, but we obviously don't see as much when they go out of the Premier League when they're quite young. Do you think that can be beneficial? Maybe a young English player who, sometimes we're so Premier League focused over here. Do you think it can be good for the young players sometimes to go to Serie A or the Bundesliga to get their development there? It's something a little bit different. I think Eric Dyer did it in Portugal.
I mean, the most important thing for the young players is to play. And when there is an opportunity, because it's tough to make the step in the Premier League team here. Maybe in Southampton, maybe it's a little bit easier. We have a lot of examples who made it and who had to step through here in this club. We are looking on our young players; they get an early chance to play. But in other clubs, it's not so easy. When you sign every transfer window for 100 million new players, then it's difficult for the young lads to step in. Here, it's a little bit easier, and if then you don't have a chance there, then sure, it's also an opportunity to go somewhere else and in other countries and show up because you have quality and then you have the chance to show it. And then you can also come back. I think the target is very often in the Premier League because it's the best league in the world and everybody wants to play here. And it's also the toughest league to make a step in. And so you have to be very good.
If I could just ask one more really quickly about the situation at centre-back. The last change you made to the defence was before the Burnley game, I think, when Vestergaard came in. You mentioned about how his physical presence was so important in that game because it was against Burnley. Are you still judging your selection at the back game by game, depending on the opponent, or has his form become so good in recent weeks that he's irreplaceable at the moment, really?
Well, I think he surprised a lot of people out there with his performance. I think the way we play in the moment helps him definitely because we are more in possession now, and he's in possession, one of our best centre backs, and this helps him massively to perform better. And this is the reason why he deserves to play in a moment. And this is like in every other position, you have to show up every week. Clean sheets help massively as a centre back. If you deliver with your team games like this one against Everton, where you nearly don't give any chances away, then you have definitely a bigger chance to play in the future. And hopefully he's still available, goes on like it was in the last weeks.